Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today we have two brand new send cuts to take a look at, or should I say one brand new model and a new flavor of one of the all-time best send cuts. Now, this new model here, we're going to save this for last because this is bringing a new element to the send cut lineup, and we'll talk about that more when we get to it. But first, we'll hop on into this one right here and see what we have. But before I do that, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you like what you see, please do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I will continue to bring you the content. Now, let's take a look at what we have here. And it's another send cut Serene, or should I say the green Serene. I like that, rolls off the tongue very, very well. The green Serene. Now, what we have here, in case you guys don't know the specs of this knife, I'll do a quick little brief rundown. We are looking at an overall length of 8.17 inches, a blade length of 3.48 inches, and a handle length at 4.69 inches. Weight on this is 4.34 ounces. Excellent button lock action. And it is still, in my humble opinion, significantly the best button lock you can get for under 50 bucks. And SendCut did keep this under 50 bucks. We are looking at a total of $46.75 for this version, which I think is actually very, very close to the other Serenes. The first run of Serenes had like a natural colored aluminum handle with a satin blade, and then I think there was like a blue and a red version. This one, I don't think there was a coated version on the first run. I don't think. Tell me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but I'm pretty sure this is the first coated version, and the green is definitely new, the emerald green, and I really do like how the black and green work together. Right now, I'm still hurting from the Notre Dame and Ohio State game, and every time I see green, I'm still thinking about Notre Dame and my broken heart. So, but yeah, we'll have to just try and look past that fact. But the green Serene is just as good as all the other Serenes, in all honesty, which is nice because it shows the consistency in terms of the button lock action on this is so good. You have no button play. There's no wiggle there in that flipper. Very nice, firm, excellent jimping. Blade rockets out. Excellent action on this. Blade falls shut. Centering is perfect. It is just more proof, guys, that when you get under 50 bucks, in terms of consistency in quality, action, fit and finish, you can't beat SendCut for under $50. Now, you get north of 50, there's a lot of options, and I would probably look away from SendCut over 50. But to be honest, I don't think there is any SendCuts over $50. So if you're someone that just doesn't want to go over that $50 mark yet, and you want to get one of the best examples of a phenomenal pocket knife under 50 bucks, the SendCut Serene is still, in my opinion, one of your two best options. I had this number one on my all-time best SendCut list, and I have no reason to take it away from that. There's a couple other knives that are really, really good in that top spot, but I will keep the Serene there because the Serene is just phenomenal. Ergos, everything, all that stuff's still good. And now there's an extra flavor to go with it. If you didn't see, there's D2 steel there, but just a gorgeous design, feels good in the handle, and excellent button lock action to go with it. The green Serene, available now at an Amazon near you, or retailers, of course, too. But now let's get into this guy. This is big, figuratively and literally. What we have here is the SendCut Fantara, and this thing is awesome. It is slicey, it is hand-filling, it is smooth. It is very, very different to a lot of SendCuts. There's no other SendCuts that I can think of that offer this type of size. Big hands are going to love this thing. First, let's take a look at some overall specs to see just exactly what we got here. We are looking at an overall length of 8.75 inches, a blade length coming in at 3.7 inches, and a blade thickness at 120 thousandths. As opposed to the D2 you see on a lot of SendCuts, this has 9CR18 MOV steel. Let me know, you guys, when it comes to SendCuts, when you get under 50 bucks, I personally don't really have an issue with D2 or 9CR18 MOV, but let me know if there's one you prefer. I mean, in terms of performance, in all honesty, in terms of edge retention, D2 has better edge retention than 9CR, but then there's a little more better corrosion resistance on the 9CR, and 9CR is a little easier to sharpen too. But let me know what your thoughts on those two and which one you prefer. Blade style is, of course, a very wide, very nice drop point blade with a very, very high flat grind. We have a handle length coming in at 5.06 inches and a handle thickness at 470 thousandths. Rather thin for a handle this wide. It's pretty thin. Talk a little more about that when we get to the handle portion of the review. We have that good liner lock mechanism, which, I mean, Civivi and Sencut, they have as good a liner locks as you can get on a pocket knife. There's some other brands that could put up a fight for the best, but it's hard to get better than Civivi or even Sencut when it comes to just a nice, solid, reliable liner lock. We have a user of a right or left hand tip up carry. Weight coming in at 5.19 ounces. And I got to tell you, it doesn't really feel like 5.19 ounces. Like this feels a lot more just regular weight to me. I don't know if that's just how thin it is and how the weight's dispersed in your hand. I'm really not sure, but it doesn't feel very heavy. So if you're someone that gets scared on knives over 4 ounces or over 5 ounces, I wouldn't worry about it. The weight really means nothing to me. I just give it because it means something to some people. In terms of price, we are looking at even lower, $43.35. Yes, please. All day. I am 1,000,000% fine with $43.35 for this knife. And you know what we're going to compare it to, because on this channel, when we talk about big knives, we bring two of the most recognizable big knives on the table for a size comparison, and that is the Cold Steel 4MAX Scout. And as you can see, it holds its own. It obviously doesn't line up perfectly well, but it holds its own with the 4MAX Scout. And when it comes to the 8010, it holds its own even a little better. So yeah, this is just proof that this is indeed a really big knife. In terms of overall, I believe in overall length and in width and just overall size in general, this is your biggest Sencut to date. And I like that. I really like that. I like how they brought in a bigger size but kept other aspects of the knife a little more slim and slender. Very, very cool. Love what Sencut is doing. Now, let's talk about this blade, because this thing here, this reminds me, I have it in my box, which is away from me right now, but the blade kind of reminds me of a tweaked, like a widened Sencut Mims. If you guys are familiar with the Mims, it has a blade cut out. It has, kind of just a regular drop point blade. It does kind of remind me of the Mims, but it has a little more belly, a much taller or wider blade, however you want to look at that. Just a wide slab of steel. And I'm trying to think, well, I mean, you saw it compared with the 4MAX Scout, so you know just how wide this blade is. For as wide as it is, though, still maintaining that 120 thousandths thick stock and an edge reading at 15 thousandths behind the edge. 15 thousandths, this is one of the sliciest Sencuts to date. And it is indeed, in every way of the word, a slicer. Very, very nice slicey blade. Love this cutout. It's great for deployment, and it just looks very good. Another thing that Sencut, Civivi, they all do it. The lines flow very well. Like you see the blade cut out. The cutout kind of goes to the points here of the handle. It's just a nice flow on everything. I like the way the designs work from top to bottom on a lot of knives. It's not just Sencut and Civivi and it's a lot of other companies doing that. But that's one of the best ways to have consistently great designs, in my opinion, is to keep that flow, keep those design lines flowing well together. They do a really good job of that. I do have an issue with this blade, though, and there's no jimping up here. This is one of those knives to where I really do miss jimping right here. I feel like this is almost something to where I think Sencut might have just made a legitimate error and been like, oh shit, we forgot the jimping, because it really, really needs jimping. It's not something to where I'm worried like my finger's gonna slip off the blade or anything, because you have a really good grip in the handle, but it just feels a little naked up here without the jimping. I would really, really like some. Sometimes it's not a huge deal to me. I almost always prefer it. Sometimes I can make exceptions, but this one I can't make an exception. I really, really wish there was some jimping up there because they do such a good job with their jimping on their flipper tabs. It's like the perfect amount of tackiness and tightness in terms of the pattern. Really wish you'd have some of that up here. That would have like perfected this blade. And you do also have kind of a little choilish area here, which you can get your index finger up there and use that if you want to do a little detail work with the knife. So that is very nice and very much appreciated. The handle is very comfy. I don't have any real issues, but personally, I think I would have liked to have this handle have been a little thicker. Just a little. Maybe like, it's at 470 thousandths right now. I feel like 520, 530 thousandths in thickness would have been really, really nice for this handle. It would have felt a lot more like the 8010 because, as you guys know, the 8010 is kind of a wider handle like this, but it's considerably thicker. I mean, let's put those together. If you can just compare the, there we go. As you can see, 8010, much thicker. I don't really want to see it as thick as the 8010, but I think just a little extra thickness in that G10 would have went a long way. But as is, it is still very comfy. I mean, there's no hot spots. There's no issues with the feel in hand. Big hands will love this knife because it gives you a lot of room to really reach and get a good, nice, hefty, solid 4-finger grip on that. So that's all good and dandy. And other than that, it's kind of just a regular G10 handle, your typical send cut clip, and it's just very run-of-the-mill. But the action and blade are what really kind of set this thing up for me. Of course, with the bigger size too. This thing is so smooth. It has a detent that I would consider for this knife, I would consider it perfect. Because all you have to, just a little bit of pressure, break that detent, that blade flies out. These bearings, guys, are ridiculously smooth. Obviously, you do have a slightly bigger blade, a bigger blade, but it's so thin, there's still extra weight up there, and it just brings that blade down so nice and smoothly. I don't know if I would call it like guillotine shut, but it's definitely drop shut. And it is very, very nice, whether you like to just flick it, or flip it, or middle finger flick it. Very, very nice blade to fidget with and just deploy in general. Excellent detent, perfect detent, and just a damn good knife. This is one of my favorite send cuts. I would put this for sure in the top 10, where it would kind of fall in the top 10 of everything. That would be tough. There's another send cut video coming way down the road. I made one just recently, so I probably won't have a top 10 send cut for another, probably sometime next year you'll see one. But yeah, very, very nice. I gotta say, I love what send cut and Civivi are doing with the bigger knives. There's been big knives come through with Civivi, and I got some new Civivis to show you guys next week. There's another big one. I love the big knife movement happening with send cut and Civivi, and just love the direction that this brand is going in general. They're keeping their prices under $50 while still bringing out incredible knives. And I mean incredible knives for the price. You guys, don't sleep on send cut. If someone's asking you like what's the best budget knife to get into under $50, I don't know how anyone could say anything other than send cut. Personally, just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Is there a brand that you think is better than send cut right now under $50? I would love to hear that. Let me know your thoughts. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, which will be tomorrow, I'm out.